Hello and welcome to Clean Fiction Audio, where you can find wonderful reads for the quirky and discerning book lover. This audio version of the popular magazine focuses on the best reads that are available in audiobook form from both the Christian and clean secular markets. For even more independent and small press books, visit cleanfictionmagazine.com and check out our most recent edition. This week we are focusing on the fantasy genre, and you will enjoy 4 reviews from our clean fiction reviewers. Contact information for reviewers featured in this episode can be found in the description. We hope that you enjoy these reviews and find your next favorite audiobook.
Horror to Clean Fiction Review by Lynn McConahy of Horseman, A Tale of the Neverican Frontier, Crockett and Crane Book 1 by kylerobertshultz. Todd Crane is on the run from the law. Good thing he's got 4 legs. But even the magic ring that lets Todd turn into a centaur isn't enough to help him escape from Marshal Amy Crockett, who's got a bone to pick with him. Something about selling not entirely legal magic potions. No big deal, right? Hang on, it gets worse. There's a downright terrifying monster roaming across the West, even worse than the usual monsters one finds out there. A creature that could leave the United States of Neverica in ruins. The Headless Horseman is back. Todd and Amy are the only ones who might be able to save the day. Fortunately, they've got help, in the form of a guitar-playing dragon shifter and a book-loving gorgon. Yes, this is the Western you've been looking for. Enjoy. Horseman is part of the Western, gaslamp fantasy, and dragons mythical creatures genres. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback and on Audible. I have read the first 2 installments of this series and have spent several hours laughing at the author's sharp wit. I also may be a bit partial to the female lead's first name for some reason. But I digress. I want to start off by saying that I adore the light-hearted voice of this author. If you read kylerobertshultz's author bio, you will understand that this guy is witty and doesn't mind poking fun at serious stuff. I must admit to a snort or two while reading his hilariously creative chapter titles and subtitles in both books. His writing makes me smile, and I cannot wait to read more of his books. Action. There are a few parts in these books that are a bit creepy, in a Halloween shake-your-bones sort of way. If you are not a fan of creepy, do not be deterred. Even the most tense moments of these books were thickly overlaid with wit and humor. Think Indiana Jones, but even more lighthearted and no fainting females. Though there is a lot of witty banter, there is definitely lots of action that pushes the story along at a rapid pace. I hope you can keep up. Adventure. These books are all over the place. In a good way. You are taken hither and yon all over the author's unique and colorful world of complexly rendered folktale characters. You may think you know what is going to happen in the story, but I would argue that you don't. His writing is like nothing else. Also, in a good way. I cannot say more without giving all the fun surprises away. Romance. These books mainly focus on the viewpoint of the Todd Crane character, but that does not stop the female lead Amy Crockett from being a commendable addition to the namesake. The rapid-fire conversations and interactions between the two made me smile wider and wider as the story continued. I cannot wait to see what he does with their relationship. Religion. The only things that I would consider religion in these books showed the difference between good and evil, though there is a place that evil cannot touch for some reason, so it is possible that there might be more to it as the story moves along. The author himself mentions in his bio that he is a Christian. You can see his faith in his writing without him coming out and writing it blatantly. Final thoughts. These are the books that you read when you are having a bad day and need some ice cream. I read Horseman a while ago and reread it recently as a refresher before jumping into Deadwood, and I was not disappointed. The story stands up to rereading and is still a joy to experience. The characters are lovable, the world is wildly complex, and I dare you to hold on and enjoy an exhilaratingly wild ride. The second book in this series is Deadwood, The Return of Crockett and Crane. This book is rated a G, will make you gasp. Both eyebrows will be involved in reading this book. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author, Kyle Robert Shultz, at kylerobertshultz.com.
A Clean Fiction Review by Lynn McConahy of Ships, Secrets, and Survivors, The Pirate Hunter Chronicles Book 1 by Sarah Rodecker and Helena George. An assassin trainee fleeing his profession. A princess risking her reputation. A talking ship with a mad captain. Raven should be dead. No one forsakes the assassin profession and lives. Attempting to evade capture and certain death, Raven hides on a ship as part of the crew. Then his name is announced on Selection Day for the annual Scara du Meda, despite him never taking the entry test, declaring to the entire world, and the assassins hunting him for revenge, that he is alive. Princess Adima Radi Kashanda dreams of more than someday ruling Antavan. She desires to make a true difference for her people. When her name is called on Selection Day, she throws away her title, despite the uncertain future ahead. This may be the opportunity she hoped for. When some of the other selectees are murdered, Ravine and Adi are among the suspects. With the help of Ravine's captain and crew, they sail away to hunt down the killer and clear their names. Can they catch the murderer when he always seems to be at least one step ahead? Ships, Secrets, and Survivors is part of the action-adventure fantasy genre. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback and on Audible. This intriguing book blurb would not allow me to leave this book alone. I don't know about you, but the romantics of a sea journey have a pull for me. That, and after The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner, I have a soft spot for deadly misfit characters. This book gives me the same sort of feeling as The Thief, though I must say it is a great deal cleaner. Action. There is plenty of action in this dual-author book. Honestly, there is barely a breather between important battles, harrowing experiences. The authors achieved an action-packed book that has little to no description of blood and death, though both are happening to and around the characters. They chose to focus more on moving the story along and character development than destruction. Adventure. As a true seafaring book, there is a great deal of geographically diverse exploration. Though the authors did not choose to go into in-depth detail on the locales and cultures visited, you are given enough to feel the adventure and wonder of an unexpected journey. For those who are sensitive, there is an element of magic in this book. I found the use unique and very engaging, but if you have an aversion, you have been warned. Romance. This story has the barest hint of romance. There are also vague mentions of unsavory things happening. As to the pirates in this book, you are left to imagine all the terrible things they can do yourself. Religion. There really is no mention of religion of any kind in this book. Having read the author bios, I know that the women who wrote it are Christians. That is probably why this book is so clean. I would say that there are underlying Christian messages to be found as well. Unfortunately, on that note, I must stop. I would say more, but I don't want to give spoilers. Final thoughts. This is the least violent, graphic pirate seafaring book I have ever read. That is to its credit. Removing the unpleasantness of both foul language and unsavory realities, I was able to enjoy the more nuanced parts of the story. I especially enjoyed the removal of foul language. It was overt and rather hilarious. I also really enjoyed getting to know the wide array of characters, and each of their colorful personalities made the story even better. In a way, it was like watching a very well-done play, unfolding one scene at a time. This is a refreshing take on the genre, and did I mention that this is just book 1? There are already 3 more books in this series to enjoy. I can't wait to get reading. This book is rated P. Clutch Your Pearls. Grandma may raise an eyebrow, but keep on reading. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the authors, Sarah Rodecker at sarahrodecker.com and Helena George at Julian Daventry Memories, blogspot.com.
This episode of Clean Fiction Audio is sponsored by Magic in Poetry. For motivational, inspirational, and sympathy poetry, Visit Magic in Poetry where words are magic. Words can make you feel joy, melancholy, peace, hope, inspiration, and a million other emotions. Poet Tanya Miranda has paired each of her original poems with licensed art in a high-def printable. If you love poetry, visit magicinpoetry.com or follow Tanya Miranda on social media at Tanya Miranda Writer.
A Clean Fiction Review by Amy Lynn McConahy of Beast and Beauty, Daughters of Evil Book 1 by Chanda Hahn. Everyone dreams of marrying a prince, except for me. I am nothing more than a pawn in my adoptive mother's diabolical plot against the Seven Kingdoms. I was the chosen tool, her sharpened blade that would cut the deepest into the heart of the kingdom of Beast. But like all deadly weapons, my wedding is a two-edged sword that could cost me my soul. For I am Rosalie, one of the adopted daughters of Lady Evie, and it is my duty to enter into a loveless and hate-filled marriage with the narcissistic Crown Prince of Beast. My choices and heart are not my own to give. Yet even in the thick of dire situations, beastly vengeance can give way to beautiful attraction. Of Beast and Beauty is part of the royalty fairy tales, folklore, and romance genres. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook, paperback, and audio CD, on iBooks, Barnes & Noble, and on Audible. When I first read this blurb, I thought that this book was going to be a villain book. Villain books are not my favorite biscotti, but I decided to try it out anyway with the thought that I would quit reading when evil was being glorified. Needless to say, I finished the book, and I am now happy to share it with you. Action. When it comes to the tension in the story, there are a lot of things going on at the same time. Some might find it a bit confusing, but I believe that is the feeling that the author was trying to give. There is not much in the way of actual action scenes, but there are definitely a lot of dangerous things going on. There are also several deaths involved with the story, and the way that they are presented might be disturbing to some. Adventura. The use of magic gives this book a feeling of adventure. There is some traveling that goes on, but the moments of wonder are found both in the use of magic and the interactions between the main character and her magical sisters. You will also find a nice helping of mystery to keep you reading. I was pleased that I did not directly guess the ending before getting very close to the end. Romance. From the title, I thought that this book would primarily focus on romance, but in actuality, the romantic moments were few and far between. I would say that romance was not the main focus of the story, but instead featured the difficulties and mysteries presented to the characters. I will warn that the romance that does happen is a little spicy, but only occurs within the bounds of marriage. It is not too descriptive and has a fade to black moment. Religion. There is not much mention of religion past the opening wedding scene. Final thoughts. In this book, you will find a main character with unknown loyalties, mysteries that are so twisted up that guessing them is difficult, and a romantic duo that does not fit into the normal mold. I loved Hahn's take on the traditional story. She took a plot that has been done and overdone and takes it to a new level of interest and intrigue. I highly recommend that if you are looking for a Beauty and Beast tale, this one is the one that you should start with. There are 6 other books in this series. This book is rated AG, will make you gasp. Both eyebrows will be involved in reading this book. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author, Chanda Hahn, at chandahahn.com.
Let's pause for a short story second and check out Windswept by Sarah Delena White. Princess Xenia is in love with the rain. Heir to a century-old curse, she spends her life in royal captivity, lest she be carried away by the wind. Her one solace is Yori, the handsome storm wraith, who comes to her window on rainy nights. But he can never be part of her constrained palace life, where she must tread cautiously and follow the rules. On the eve of an arranged marriage, she makes a fateful choice that sets the curse in motion. But the wind she fears may hold the key to her freedom. Hounded by vengeful wraiths, Zhenya must risk her soul and uncover the truth about the curse, or else she may become the very terror she flees. Windswept is part of the coming-of-age fantasy and romance genres and is available on Amazon as an ebook or paperback and on Audible. This sweet and spicy short read was a great mix of fear, folklore, and infatuation. In the limited time we are given with the characters, the author gives us both their history and their tumultuous present. The way she achieves this makes the story not feel rushed or unfinished. I highly recommend this book for those who enjoy fast books that pack an emotional punch. This book is rated AB. This is the full blush, people. If you are prone to fainting, you will need a fan. You can find the author, Sarah Delena White, at sarahdelenawhite.com.
A clean fiction review by Brianna Wilkie of the Book of Evie, series of The Chosen Book 1 by Jean Pascal. Imagine waking up in a world you do not know, with no recollection of how you got there. Alicia found herself in the world of Gia, a living, breathing, sentient dimension. Gia begins to show her the story of a girl named Evie, and Alicia is able to experience Evie's life as if she were part of the story. Alicia soon realizes there's so much more to this adventure than she could ever imagine. During her journey, Alicia discovers the dark truth about the world around her. With the help of angels, she must ultimately face evil beyond anything she has ever encountered. Experience this beautiful fantasy adventure mixed with page-turning mystery in the Book of Evie. The Book of Evie is part of the Christian fantasy genre. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback and on Audible. Action. If you're looking for action, you'll have to wait for Act 3 for most of it. That's where things really start to escalate and a battle of good versus evil takes place. I wish I could say more, but then I'd be entering spoiler territory. Trust me, this is a story you won't want to miss with a twist not even I saw coming. Adventure. The adventure is centered around getting a chance to watch the events of someone's life unfold. Alicia and her guide Angel can watch certain events from Evie's life, but they can't interfere or change anything. Then the adventure ramps up towards the end with action scenes that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Romance. While romance is never the main focus, there are a few romantic scenes like flashbacks to Max and Daisy's wedding day and a couple of romantic moments between Jack and Evie. Religion. Christianity plays a huge role in this story. Jesus is at the center of this amazing story. He's often referred to as the Master, and the angels talk about him a lot and about their role in serving him. There are several themes at play here, including being created by the Master for a purpose and to love and serve him, and being fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:14. This story deals with the theme of spiritual warfare as well. Final thoughts. I loved this book so much. This story has so much more to it than meets the eye. It's an awesome fantasy with something more mysterious running below the surface. I really wish I could say more, but I can't say much of anything without spoiling the twists and turns this book has in store. It's a special story, one of the more interesting ones that I've read in a while. I was impressed with it, and that's something that's really hard to do, but the author achieved it. I highly recommend this one and can't wait for book 2. Read it. You won't regret it. This book is rated a G. Will make you gasp. Both eyebrows will be involved in reading this book. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author Jean Pascal at jeanpascalcreative.com.